Alright guys, welcome back to Dice Throne. Today we're going to be looking at the Pyromancer, one of the more favorited characters because of how cool she is in her token mechanics. So, just like the Moon Elf, we're going to get straight into it. So we are going to roll, and this is actually a perfect way to discuss this because this is a small and large straight. So let's say you rolled these 4 in a row. So 2, 3, 4, 5, that is your small straight. So we're going to first get into gaining Fire Mastery. This is the token that defines the Pyromancer's kit. You gain 2 Fire Mastery, and then for each Fire Mastery, you add 1 damage to this attack. So you deal 5 damage plus 1 damage for Fire Mastery, so you have 2 Fire Mastery, so this attack actually does 7 damage rather than just 5. So again, you can see that the Fire Mastery tokens actually empower her attacks, which is very useful. Similar thing for the large straight. So you, again, if you rolled a 6 on top, so you have a 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, you have a large straight, you gain that 2 Fire Mastery, and then you deal 4 damage, plus 2 damage per Fire Mastery. So instead of just plus 1 for the small straight, or large straight, it is plus 2 damage, meaning that you're actually dealing 8 damage instead of 4, so you're doubling it with this ability. And of course, your maximum Fire Mastery is 5, a stack of 5. So the small straight's max damage is actually 10, while the large straight's max damage is 14, which actually does more than your ultimate does. But again, ultimate damage is actually no, it doesn't. It does the same amount of damage as your ultimate, except the ultimate damage is 12, and we'll deal with collateral damage later. But yeah, so you gain 2 Fire Mastery, but every single upkeep for the Pyromancer, she loses a Fire Mastery token. So on her upkeep, at the start of every turn, she'll lose a Fire Mastery. That's just because it's relatively easy to gain 5 Fire Mastery, so she does cool off, as it's called, and remove 1 per upkeep. So you do need to keep your Fire Mastery total at 5 if you want to activate max Fire Mastery attacks. But let's say that you roll Burning Soul, and let's say you roll, let's say you roll 4 5s, and you activate Burning Soul right here. You gain 2 Fire Mastery per red, so you technically gain 8, but your stack max is 5, so you gain 5 stack max, and then you deal 1 collateral damage per 5 you rolled. You rolled 4, so you're doing 4 collat damage. So what is collateral damage? Collateral damage is undefendable damage that targets all opponents. So if you're in a 2v2 fight, collateral damage will deal damage to both opponents instead of just 1. So collateral damage basically just means splash damage in this game. So think of collateral damage as splash damage. If you're against multiple targets, you'll hit all of them with collateral damage, and it's undefendable, so you can't roll defensive against it. So collateral damage is just splash damage, and you're going to be dealing 4 collateral damage because of the 4 5s you rolled. But Burning Soul is basically how you get max Fire Mastery, because you only have to roll 3 5s to get max Fire Mastery, because you technically gain 6, but you can only gain 5 because of the stack. But now that you have 5, let's say you roll, we gotta get creative here, roll 2, a 4, 2 5s, and a 6. Well, you have 1 of each. You have 2, 4, 5, 6. You have 1 of each symbol, which allows you to activate Combustion. Combustion allows you to gain a Fire Mastery, but you're already at max 5, so you can't do that. But to activate Combustion, you must remove up to 4 Fire Mastery tokens and deal 3 undefendable damage per token, meaning that if you remove 4 Fire Mastery, the max you can allow to move, you're going to be dealing 12 undefendable damage per Combustion. That's what I'm saying. Fire Mastery, it fuels your attacks. So Burning Soul allows you to collect Fire Mastery. You can also collect it on your defensive as well. It allows you to roll 5 dice when you're getting attacked. Let's say you're being attacked by 8 damage. You roll 5 dice, you gain 1 Fire Mastery per 5 that you roll, and per flame that you roll, you deal 1 per that. And if you look at the dice symbols here, 1, 2, 3 is of course flame, so similar to the Barbarian and Moon Elf when it comes to the 1, 2, 3, but it's different when it comes to the Fire Mastery. 4s and 5s are different symbols. 4 is the Blaze symbol, 5 is the Fiery Soul symbol, and 6 is the Meteor symbol. So Combustion is if you roll 1 of every symbol, so a 4, 5, 6, and then a 1, 2, or 3. And defensive, if you roll a 5, you gain Fire Mastery per 5 that you roll during defensive, and if you roll a flame, you deal 1 damage per flame. So yeah, Fireball gives you Fire Mastery. You really want to look at all the moves that give you Fire Mastery, and that is Fireball, Burning Soul gives you the most, Combustion gives you 1, Ignite and Hot Streak give you 2 each, and Meteorite, which means you roll 4 6s, gives you 2 Fire Mastery. So, the only roll that doesn't give you Fire Mastery, all of them give you Fire Mastery, but there's a catch. Pyroblast is different. So let's say you roll 3 flames and a 6. You're dealing 6 damage and you're rolling a dice, and this determines what effect you put on your opponent. Let's see what you roll. Alright, so you rolled a 6. You're inflicting Knockdown. Knockdown is a powerful token. Knockdown means opponent inflicted with Knockdown means they have to pay 2 CP, so 2 CP from their dial, or they skip their roll offensive. So basically, if they want to attack you next turn, they have to pay 2 CP in order to attack you. So basically paying for medical bills to attack you. So let's say they only have 1 CP. Well, they remove this token and then they skip their offensive phase and don't get to attack you that turn. So, very powerful token. But let's say, there it is. Let's say you roll a 5. That gives you 2 Fire Mastery. So you gain 2 Fire Mastery. So again, you only get Fire Mastery from this move if you roll a 5. But of course it gives you a bunch of other effects if you don't. If you roll a Flame, you add 3 damage, so instead of dealing 6, you're now dealing 9 damage. Nice. But if, let's say, you roll a 4, then you inflict Burn. Burn is a very simple token. It is persistent, so it stays on an opponent's board until they remove it themselves. And an opponent inflicted with this token during their upkeep phase is dealt 2 damage every upkeep phase, every one of their upkeep phases. So it's a persistent -2 until they remove. It's very powerful. But you may also notice that Stun is here. Stun, being one of the most powerful tokens in the game, in my opinion, is activated via Meteorite. So let's say you roll 4 6s. Well, you gain 2 Fire Mastery, and then you inflict Stun as such. So now your opponent is inflicted with Stun. If you don't remember what Stun does, basically means that after this attack, you get to attack for free. So they don't get to roll defensive against the attack that you're committing right here. So basically you gain your 2 Fire Mastery, inflict Stun, and then this attack is basically for free. So what happens when this attack? You deal 1 damage per Fire Mastery. So you gain 2 from this attack, and then you deal 1 undefendable damage per Fire Mastery, so that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 undefendable damage, and then also deal 2 splash damage in the form of collateral. So this attack does 7 damage, but if it's collateral, it'll also do 2 splash damage to an opponent if you have multiple opponents. And of course, if you roll 5 6s, you gain 3 Fire Mastery, inflict Knockdown, Burn. So basically, if they don't pay 2, they skip their offensive. Persistent -2 on their upkeep. Deal 12 ultimate damage, which is undefendable, unblockable. And then additionally, deal 2 collateral damage. You're dealing 14 in total damage, but 2 of it is splash damage. But the stun is only located on Meteorite, which allows you to basically do this attack, skip the opponent's defensive roll an entire turn, and just attack them twice. So you attack them twice for 1 defensive. So yeah, that is going to do it for this video, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, like if you like, dislike if you don't, subscribe down below if you're new to the channel, and of course, comment down below what hero that you like playing in Dice Tournament the best, and I'll see you guys with the next hero. Doodle-doo!